I spent my whole life thus far trying to get into Harvard, and this kid was about to get kicked out of Harvard. That's a big red flag. Hey.
Welcome to your job interview.
Thank you.
Priscilla, you're a Harvard grad who then went to medical school and has worked as a pediatrician. You're also a mother of 3 and married to one of the most powerful tech CEOs in the world, Mark Zuckerberg. And now you're the co-founder and co-CEO of the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, which aims to cure, prevent, and manage all diseases by the end of the century.
That's me.
Did I hear correctly that you wrote the formal letter announcing CZI while in the delivery room?
This is true. Talk about work-life balance. This is my firstborn, so there was a lot of firsts happening. You know, things are slow until they're fast. And so during the slow parts, we were finishing and writing our letter, and there were a few more edits that needed to be done, and suddenly it was time for action. And so I was like, Mark, we're done. Like, we will continue working on this, we will iterate on this, but right now we got to switch our attention to something else.
When you started CZI, a lot of people in the science world kind of scoffed at the lofty goal.
It was so funny. When we started, people were like, that's ridiculous. Please try to say it with a straight face. They were just like, it's not possible. And we're like, we should try. And we came up with a strategy where our work is about building tools, whether they're software, they're models, it's research platforms that make every scientist faster and better.
You're now 10 years into the project.
Yep.
What accomplishment are you most proud of?
My brain would say I'm most proud of building the biohubs as places where innovative science that can't be done elsewhere can be done. But my heart leaps every time I get a note from a patient that says that research changed my life. It gave me a diagnosis. It gave me a treatment path. Or at least it gave me a community of others that were on the same journey. That's what I'm here for.
How did you know this was your life's mission?
I like the intense moments. I loved being in the emergency room. I loved being in the ICU. And I'm technically excellent. You want me in an emergency, okay? Like that, I'm good for that. I'm calm. It's clear. I'm able to effectively make decisions.
Is that innate for you?
I think so. But I think the thing that is also amazing about it's an honor of my lifetime to be able to be there for families in those moments. And it's just an honor.
You're tearing up. What are you thinking about?
There's all these memories of moments where patients needed more knowledge to be created. And I remember all those kids.
Is there one that you feel like you're still kind of striving for today?
I wasn't always a big basic science nerd, but it was all those times that a family gave me a PDF, a printout of all the research that's known about their kid's illness. And I'm like, this is it. I remember reading word for word, like every single word, trying to extract knowledge out of that PDF to help a family. And people get confused. They think the work that we do is about medicine because I'm a physician, but it's really about basic science because if we can discover new knowledge about how the human body works, that's hope.
I want to take us back to the beginning. Can you paint me a picture of what it was like growing up in your house?
I grew up in Massachusetts. I grew up in an Irish Catholic town. We were the first immigrant family there, one of the first. We lived in a tiny yellow house surrounded by tulips in the spring. But the thing that stands out the most is it was filled with family and it was filled with food. We lived within a mile of 10 aunts and uncles, 9 cousins. My grandparents lived with us. I have 2 sisters. My parents were the adults in the house. And we were all in each other's business all the time. You were never lonely.
When do you remember taking an interest in science?
Okay, so I was a huge nerd. So there was not like one day where I was like, God, I love learning. That was always a part of me. But the moment when I realized that it was more than something in the classroom was when I was in high school on the robotics team. We had spent all year building this robot. We were in Orlando, we were at nationals, we were winning. And then we lost. I was heartbroken and others were heartbroken. That's when I realized that science is a team sport.
In 2003, you began classes at Harvard. Walk me through your first few days there.
I was terrified. I'd never been to a place like that. I'd never belonged to a group that sort of had that history. And honestly, the work was really hard. It kicked my butt. I remember talking to my mom. I was like, I got to transfer out. I don't belong here. And I remember pulling together the paperwork and then deciding that I was going to stick with it and sort of make it work.
How did you decide to stick it out?
My mom she's pretty hands off. She's not going to sort of weigh in heavily. She was just like, okay, if that's what you think is best. I think it was actually that space to try sort of tipped it for me. And then, the second pivotal moment, which comes a little bit before, is I met Mark waiting in line for the bathroom, and that changed my life.
Did you know right off the bat, or was it something that kind of grew over time?
No, I did not. It was an experiment. I was very concerned. I'd spent my whole life thus far trying to get into Harvard, and this kid was about to get kicked out of Harvard. That's a big red flag.
Redder than the sweater. To that point, some people argue that who you marry is one of the most important career decisions you make. How did you know Mark was the one?
Mark has always made me sort of a braver version of myself. He is always cheering me on. He believes in me. But I have to say that there's no one fairy tale moment. I think it works because we work hard to show up for each other.
You did stay at Harvard.
Yes.
And then you went on to medical school at UCSF.
Mm-hmm.
What's something you learned in med school that will always stick with you?
The thing I learned in med school is you really have to listen to people. Patients come in and they're describing something, you just have to listen. Because if you don't listen, you miss the core of the issue.
How do you know when you're actively listening?
When I actively listen, I try to really embody what the other person is feeling. Can I put together and understand why they're showing up the way they are?
They say doctors make the worst patients.
Oh, yeah.
What is a piece of health advice that you ignore?
Okay, my little treat is a glass of champagne. And I try to look away. Like sometimes alcohol is okay, sometimes it's not in the research. I'm just going to ride this one out and enjoy my little treat.
Any particular kind of champagne?
Oh, I'm not picky. Can is cool, bottle is fine.
As part of this job interview, we of course had to check some socials.
Mm-hmm.
You posted this photo of you and your sister with a caption about the science of memory. What's a memory you hope you never forget?
Each time I met one of my girls. It's honestly, I don't know if it's the endorphins or the epidural or whatever it is, but it's pretty good.
Tell me about this post.
Yep, I am wake surfing.
Who's better at wake surfing, you or Mark?
I'm better.
What's your secret?
I can't wake surf if there's no music. You got to turn on the music. Otherwise, I don't know what to do. Any song from the 2000s, I am there. I know every single word.
Another swipe?
Okay.
What is the story with this statue?
Gift giving is one of Mark's love languages. This is one of his gifts.
How did you feel when you saw it?
I guess larger than life.
Do you still have it?
Of course. How do you get rid of that? You just have that for life now. One of our kids is going to have to inherit it.
Some people have family photos. You guys have statues.
Oh, no, it's just me.
Oh, okay.
No one else has a statue.
None of the girls?
You know what? Let me reframe. I love being the matriarch of our family. So, here it is.